Hey church, if you're interested in anything related to men's ministry or marriage ministry, you're really going to want to stay tuned. My name is Pastor Ryan Goebel, and this is your Midweek Update. Hey church, I am sitting here right now with Pastor Bill Cavness. He is our pastor here centrally for men's and marriage. And I invited him here today just to talk about what's going on in both men's and marriage here at Scottsdale Bible Church. Bill?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. It's great to have a chance to address all of you. And there's a couple major things, one in each of the two ministries. Let's start with marriage. But for marriage ministry, our flagship program right now is Grace Marriage. And the reason I'm so excited about Grace Marriage is because it gives couples a chance to come together and have substantive conversations with one another. A lot of times we do marriage conferences or marriage workshops, and there's a talking head up front kind of communicating a lot of information that I'm not convinced couples ever go home and discuss and really figure out how to integrate into their lives. So the beautiful thing about Grace Marriage is that we're actually just spending the whole 4 hours on a Saturday, 4 times a year, setting up conversations between you and your spouse, where you write down your thoughts, and then you actually have discussions with your spouse to work through things and to affirm one another about what's going well as to address issues that may be underlying in your marriage. And then on the men's side, we launched the Forge this fall.
Brand new.
New branding. I got my shirt on today.
Got that swag on.
And so the Forge, a good manly name, but it's our Tuesday night program basically. And the Forge is the gateway to men's ministry at Scottsdale Bible Church. We have lots of other things that go on, but as new men come into the church, what we really want for them is to get them connected to a small group where they can, one, process Scripture and process what it means to live your life according to what Scripture says, and to have other men around them who help them see what that looks like.
Is that kind of like get God, get real, get out there?
It's a little bit like that. It's getting real. We get real at the Forge. And so we have Bible teaching, and then we put men in groups to talk about the Bible teaching, and then to share life with one another, because it's really easy to get lost out there if you're walking alone, if you're not walking with other men. So our goal there is just to build strong disciples in the Forge. And from that, there's all kinds of opportunities for local outreach, for short-term mission trips, and for various ways to lead and serve within men's ministry throughout the church.
I love that. Well, thank you, Bill. It's great to have Pastor Bill here. So, recap, if you are married, we would love to see you at Grace Marriage. You can hop on scottsdalebible.com and check out when the next one is. And again, it's only 4 times a year, once a quarter. So it's pretty easy to get to. I hope you can make it. And then second thing is, if you're a guy or you know a guy, send him over to the Forge. We'd love to have you there. Bill, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
So this past weekend, Pastor Jamie preached on the second commandment, no idols. And he reminded us that in order to follow God to the fullest, we need to keep Him and Him alone as our center of worship. And that even includes keeping our imaginations in check as we think about God. He really emphasized the fact that what we need to know about God has already been given to us. And it's there right in the Scriptures. And so if we want to picture God, if we want to understand Him and know Him, all we need to do is go straight to the Word, because that is where God has shown Himself the best. And so church, remember, again, no idols. And the way we do that is by looking to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. This weekend, Pastor Kevin Ewell is going to be preaching on the third commandment, do not take the Lord's name in vain. You know, this is one that has a lot of implications for our lives. There's some that are obvious and some that aren't so obvious. But what I know is, having spoken with Kevin this morning, he's going to be talking about how we need to keep our hearts in a reverent posture towards God, and how we need to remember that as we worship Him, we need to do so with all of our hearts, not just some of them. So I'm excited for this weekend. I hope you are too. We will see you at church this Sunday. Take care, guys.